Alright, let's get this party started. How's everybody doing tonight? I don't know quite what we're gonna work on. I gotta get my clippers out and clip off a portion of this split ring here. The Church of Chainmail will now commence. What's up, Jeep and Jamber? How you doing? Are we going? All right. Let's get my cameras set up correctly. All right. So I've had this flask for years, and it had this crappy leather, faux leather wrap on it and this stamp. And so I took the faux leather off and stamped out some chainmail leather. Used a chainmail themed stamp. Stamped out the leather. Put this pewter swamp water tag on there. And then did some leather cord work on the back to keep it closed. And now my kid was down here messing with everything. And I'm going to try and clip a little bit of this split ring off of... I'm going to try and clip a little bit of this split ring off. There, that's the word I was looking for. And see if it moves just a little bit more. Otherwise, I'll figure out something else. But I need to make something that attaches... I need to make a chain that attaches the cap to the flask. And my kiddo was over there playing, and I was like, hold on a second. So I've got some 18 gauge 3/16 rings here, and that kind of looks like I might have enough. Some of these are already pieces of Byzantine. Don't know what they're from, but we can hook them together and see if we can make ourselves a little connecting chain. I think we have enough here, right? Kind of looks like we... Let's do this. I'm going to use my pliers that are a little bit heavier. Doing good, and myself, I'm doing all right. Doing all right. Kiddo was down here being a turd earlier, but we're doing okay. So yeah. All right. We'll connect a few of these together and see if we can't make ourselves a chain. Excuse me. Yeah, my son was down here getting into everything, and then he wants to be like every child his age. He wants to be a YouTube streamer. And I'm fine with that, but he's too young for the terms of service for YouTube, so like I keep telling him you gotta wait. And so then he's like, oh well, I can just stream with you. I'll be your cameraman. And he did help me out on a little video earlier, so we'll see if we can't develop those cameraman skills. perhaps if I am able to come up with more skits and get him to film adequately, we can make a few cool videos together, and he'll like that. Alright. He wants to be a blacksmith when he grows up. I was like, you know what, kiddo? Me too. So eventually, so much. Jennifer Robertson has liked the stream. Thank you, Jennifer. He got real into Forged in Fire not that long ago. He's like, I want to do that. I was like, okay. And I have had every intention of getting a forge and an anvil and setting up shop in the backyard and figuring out how to make cool stuff. I have the corner of my basement where I can work. And then I got a shed in the backyard, but it's full. Right? I got a riding lawnmower, push lawnmower, and some storage stuff that we keep back there. So it's not ideal. All right. So this Byzantine is pretty thick, right? And if we use that, it's going to be difficult to get this clasp on and off. You always wanted to be a smith but could never afford the startup. The startup was a lot cheaper 10 years ago. You could buy an anvil for $2-3 a pound. And now, you know, it's $7, $8, $10, $12 a pound. It's a bit ridiculous. So I live by a place called Centaur Forge, and they've got brand new anvils and coal forges right there. I don't want a coal forge necessarily, but it'd be nice just to have one. And they have a lot of farrier supplies, is primarily what they do. Brian Mangagna, thank you for the follow. Hope I said your name right. Couldn't afford it then either. Was only 18, making almost nothing. Yeah. No, I couldn't afford it then. I mean, and I was 30 making money. So I have a collection of books that I bought many years ago because I was getting ready to get into it, and it never manifested. So then I had a kid, and he's now old enough that I can kind of let him do his thing. So once he gets a little bit older, we'll get all the parts and set up shop in the backyard. The issue is I gotta have enough room in my shed to store everything so that it can, and it's got to be able to be broken down and movable. And that's the same with all of my wood shop tools. Right? I don't have enough room to set them out. The garage is filled up with 2 vehicles, and it's more important that the vehicles are garage kept than it is that I do woodwork in there. So and that means that I can only really set it up during the summer because I don't have a shop or a building for it. All right, see how tricky this gets. And I'm not, I really shouldn't worry about whether or not this is functional. It's really just for looks, right? Because I don't drink liquor. So if it doesn't open after we put this on there, then oh well, right? Is this going to be tight enough? It might not be tight enough. We might have to adjust a little bit here. Let's see here. We'll try it this way. The bottle I was working on last night, that got done. Pretty happy with that, how that turned out. I'll show you in a second. I had to redo the whole thing because, of course I did. So I started out using elf weave, and it was just too loose, right? Okay. That's on there. It's not super tight, but it's not... Like, it seems like it wants to stay on. So... That's not too bad. Let's see if we can... Like, you'd be hard-pressed. You'd have to be really... Oh, there it goes. Okay, so it does come off. Is that a good thing? I have... This is all stainless steel, right? I can probably tack weld this in a couple places. And I think I'm going to leave it like this. According to the flask, you drink swamp water. Yeah. So we've got this little pentagon of Byzantine around the lip of the cap here. And I could make it tighter. I really could. I almost want to, but here is, let me zoom in the overhead camera. Show you what I finished last night. Come on, zoom. Zoom, keep zooming. I'm adjusting my overhead camera, so if you were on any of the main platforms that people stream on, you can see how this bottle turned out. So just like this flask, I put a little Byzantine around the top lip. I'm going to get a cork for it. But this is all the rings I had, and I had to switch it from elf weave to interwoven 4-in-1. So I kind of like the way it came out. It's a nice addition to my bottle wrap collection. And for anyone on TikTok, let me show you what we're looking at. Put a little Byzantine chain around the lip and then switch from elf weave to interwoven 4-in-1, and now it's a friction fit. It will pop off if you take it off. It will slide if you force it. But, you know, if you don't bother it, it'll hold itself on that little bottle. So I think it came out pretty good. I'm happy with it. What you do? Do I add another ring size to this? Do I just... It's too loose to leave alone. So let's figure this out here. I don't have a multitude of ring sizes to try with this, but I do have one or two. So, let's see here, all right. I don't like the way this isn't leaving me with an option to avoid connecting these together. It's not quite the right ring size, and it's just a little bit oversized for getting it up perfectly around the flask. Close the end with the leather and you can cinch it down. Close the end with the leather and you can cinch it down for a tight fit. I'm not sure what... I follow you there. Alright, but if I connect these two ends, it's going to be an ugly section. It's not the end of the world. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Oy. But it will be tight. Right? Do I have another? I don't. I'm trying to think if I have another small chain I can test here. What have I got sitting next to me? This is 19 gauge 5/32. We're gonna try that. The two ends that are wrapped around the cap use leather cord to tie together, and it could double at the cord. Oh, I see. I see what you mean. Yeah, you could do that. Possible capture it. The cord. Yeah, you could. All right. Trying to think. This ring size won't let me do half Persian 4-in-1 or 3-in-1. 3-in-1 would be good for this little cap here. Yeah. Oh no, what am I making? Trying to remember if this makes a 3 connector Byzantine or 2 connector. I know 18 gauge 5/32 makes a 2 connector. 19 gauge, it looks like it'll do a 3 connector Byzantine. We'll see. Which rings won't do 3-in-1? 19 gauge 5/32 won't do 3-in-1. And it looks like it will do a 3 connector Byzantine, so let's see if we can fit it to this cap. I know plenty of people who do not like Byzantine, and I get it. It's kind of a simple weave. It's popular, people like it, so you end up making a lot of it. I love Byzantine. You're going to say you capture your bottle with HP 3-in-1 on the neck with those same rings? Yeah, not the rings you sent me. The rings you sent me, I made some interwoven 4-in-1 out of and wrapped the bottle that way and then did Byzantine around the top. Now I just need a cork for it. Four in one should be more hated than Byzantine with the amount it's been made. Yeah, I don't understand that. I make a ton of Byzantine. I think it's an awesome weave. You can do a whole lot of stuff with it. 4-in-1, I mean, it's okay. I don't use it a lot, but it's good for a few things. I don't understand when people say, "Oh, this weave is a ring eater," just meaning that it uses a lot of rings, right? Like, well, yeah, they all do. That's why we do this. So I don't know. People if they're counting their pennies or trying to make every ring count, get the most bang for their proverbial buck. That's probably the thought process, is they're trying to make money and I'm just trying to make cool stuff. And when you're trying to make money and you end up making the same thing over and over and over again, I guess I could understand why you begin to hate it. Yeah, rings per inch to finished piece, the total cost. Yeah, they're thinking about money. I get it. But there's so many, I don't know, there's so many weaves out there that are ring dense, and it's just like, I don't mind. They're cool. You know, it takes as many rings as it takes. Your pen is an example of cool stuff. Value is insane. 20 captures. Folks say two captures should be 15 to 30%, or 2 pens captured. Let's see here. 2 of the captures, the pen takes 20 to cover, so what's it worth? 2 of the captures are 15 to 30%? Interesting. Yeah, the way people price some stuff is, I don't know. Like what I'm making right now, a Byzantine chain. A Byzantine chain is a Byzantine chain is a Byzantine chain. Right? If you're making your own rings, you can cut costs and charge less. If you add a pendant, you can make it fancier. If you weld it and polish it, tumble it, you can make it fancy, a little nicer than everybody else's. But at the end of the day, a Byzantine chain is a Byzantine chain, It's like my bracelets. I charge a decent amount for them, not more than what some other people would charge, but more than what others wouldn't charge for it, and that's because it's not just straight Byzantine all the way through. There's multiple ring sizes involved. Nope. Alright, how are we looking here? So this looks a little better. The weave doesn't stick out quite as far. Hopefully it fits all the way around. Earring, Byzantine ring size, bracelet, wallet chain, dog collar, not all the same Byzantine chain, but ring size. Half the ring size, some double the cost though. Less materials and forced to make, yeah. I mean, those are all true. But at the end of the day, right, if you have 2 people making the same thing, they will come up with different ways to charge for those items or to price those items. And some of it's, I'm like, that's not accurate. What do I know? I don't sell a lot of stuff. You get building value, then some pieces below the scope. What's a bracelet cost versus your Finnegan's Wake? Would you make more per ring if all bracelets? Yeah, I would make a bunch more per ring if they were all bracelets. That Finnegan's Wake inlay is just a labor of love at this point. Were you here the other night? I mentioned that the bar actually closed. That it was based off of. Which is too bad. It's a nice little place. Nice little hole in the wall. I enjoyed many a weekend going there after my deployment. It was an hour away from base, and it got me out of the barracks and out into the world for a little bit. And it made me think that I wasn't in Louisiana anymore. Missed that, but good memory. Piece for a good memory. Yeah. Yep. It's a piece for a good memory. If I ever finish it. One day. I'm running, like, I've made all these little projects here, and I'm quickly running out of projects. Like, all the projects that I've got laid out here, they're fairly large, but they're not, I wouldn't say they're bigger than the Finnegan's Wake flag. Maybe one of them is. Mwahaha projects. Hey Mike, how you doing? Yeah, so like all the little stuff is pretty much wrapped up. And the rest is just knocking it out. Some of them are pretty straightforward, like I've got a bunch of 16 gauge 5/16, so I'll turn into a coif for my kid. It's aluminum, and I've got a bunch of anodized aluminum rings that I don't use. You lost all your early 18 years worth of mail projects. All you have is last 10 or 12 years. I don't know if you've told me that before. How did you lose the first early mail that you made? Forge and Fire. It's cold, snowing, forgetting fire kind of night. Oh, it's a cold, snowing, forged in fire kind of night. There you go. We were just talking about Forge and Fire, how my kid, about 2 years ago, was watching it. And he said he wants to become a blacksmith. And he's held on to that for 2 or 3 years now. Alright. Ex-wife and storage costs lost it when she didn't pay the storage cost during your breakup. Oof. That's awful, dude. And that's not stuff you can replace. You know, all your handmade stuff. I was watching a clip from Forge and Fire the other day, and they were trying to cut the sandbags, and the one guy's blade didn't cut it at all. I was like, and he said, I didn't design my blade to be sharp, and basically he had presented a dull blade. I was like, bro, what? What were you thinking? Yeah. These are actually some pretty good rings. I might be able to polish these up a little bit and use them. Let's do it. They're doing championship round for their on the road winners. Nice. Okay, we are I We're about halfway around. And those, well, at the halfway mark, there kind of looks like these are lined up across the diameter here. So that might, alright, that might hold on real tight there. Alright, trying to skirt requirements to make a stronger blade for testing sounds like. Oh, and forgot about sharpness, yeah. Don't know, I just saw the clip and I was befuddled. There's so I follow several bladesmiths. Some have been on Forge and Fire, and they all make really cool stuff. You know, even the blacksmiths that aren't bladesmiths necessarily, they just make stuff kind of, I don't know, kind of like what I'm doing here. They're just out there putting stuff together and then it comes out and it's amazing. It's one skill that I wish I had more of. So I've got a couple books on the subject. And I've got a bunch of machinist tools from my father-in-law. So, just don't let him look up YouTube videos on truth about Forge and Fire. Many good points made, and a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff is usual drama of production, and more drama and publicity than a real competition. Oh, I'm sure. Alright, I talked to them about making a chainmail Damascus blade, but didn't spend enough time in advance getting the right metal for the ring. Okay. I need to read. I talked to them about making a chainmail Damascus blade, but didn't spend enough time in advance getting the right metal for the ring. Really? That'd be cool. Someone asked me if I made Damascus the other day on the titanium jelly cube video. I'm like, no, I don't. I understand the concept behind it. Laminated steel. I could give it a go, but I don't know. The internet's a weird place. You post something and weird stuff shows up. You were planning out your claymore sword you're working on? Very nice. Yeah. And that's the thing. I know a lot of people whose natural progression was started in chainmail and they moved on to other types of metalwork. Some became jewelers and some became blacksmiths, and people became welders and all kinds of stuff. 1095 and 15 and 20 wire would be interesting to source. Maybe Sanmai it would be cool. Full edge of it would be hit or miss based on pattern locations. You mean, whoa, where did that go? I don't know where that ring went. Pulled a Houdini. Yeah, the trick would be if you Sanmai together, it would be more visible. In theory, right? Like that's what you're saying, John? Because it would be difficult to see. You'd have to use really large rings. in order to make any type of visible pattern in a Damascus ring, right? Like, that's my understanding. I'm not an expert. I'm just asking. So Sanmai is a different technique. And it would be a little more visible. Make the mail canister first and taco it around a mono steel core. Otherwise, the edge will chip out on harder metal and roll on the softest ones. Alright, let's add this next. Well, let's do a test fit. Let's see here. How's it coming? How much further do we have to go? Where am I at here? So, 1, 2. Okay. 20 gauge 1/8 would make a fence-like pattern, would not look like rings per se. 20 gauge 1/8 rings would make a. I'm very. I am confused. I think that there would definitely be a couple different things you could do with taking laminated steel and turning it into Damascus rings. As far as like making a pattern first and then turning it into rings. I know some guys do like speckled patterns. If you stuff clay into mail, then sand it flat, would you see rings or dots of high spots? It would just be dots or half moon shapes in the etch. Yeah, okay. That's not terrible, right? You get a cool Damascus texture for your chainmail. Like, if you can do it, I'd be interested. That's cool. That'd be almost as cool as, you know, the rings they use. I think it's, what's his name? Solomon, the Arab guy, fought the Christians in Jerusalem 800 years ago or whatever. So the rings on his armor are, I think it's his, flat, and they've got writing on them, and they're riveted. Raindrop pattern would look better. Yeah. I'm just saying, I think that there's a few different patterns that you could use where you could get something visible on the ring to make it distinct from other mono metal rings. Like a stainless, not mono metal. Stainless is a, what's the word? An alloy. For mail, you've seen folks use 600 coin silver and 925 sterling, twist the wire together, solder fuse, then drop plate it and make it into rings. So that'd be cool too. Solomon's mail is double riveted with verse of the Bible and Quran phrase, Allah and the likes across the whole piece, and costs about the same as a castle. Yeah, exactly. Still, the rings used to make his armor is amazing. So, like, whatever that technique is to do that, the craftsmanship required to do that, right? I would like to know. I'll get there eventually. All right, I've got to... I think this is gonna connect now. So we'll do this. Alright, this is going to be a pain in the butt. But I think I have enough room here to work. You are chasing them with your die-struck rings. Yep. Which are awesome. Come on, give me some room here. There we go. Come on. Don't slip out. Alright, one more, and then that's seems like it's on there pretty solid. It's not as loose as the 18 gauge 3/16 rings I had on there previously. Whoa. Almost stabbed myself. Oh, come on. Don't do this to me. Come on. Look at that. It is a perfect fit. It's exactly what I wanted. Right? There's enough room. It's not going to pop off at all. And there's enough room to grab it and unscrew the cap. So we'll make a little chain from this split ring here to the Byzantine around the cap. So that turned out pretty good. And that way the cap is connected to the flask. I had set it up on the window ledge and completely forgot to do anything. I did the leather wrap around the flask and I was like, okay, I'm done. You know, that's cool. some stamped chainmail into the flask. And I don't know what it is with working on drinkware and wrapping bottles. All the other chainmail artists I know are normal and they do normal things, but I'm cursed with, I don't know, being weird. Alright. I'm just kidding. I think all the other chainmail artists are weird too. To a degree. Alright. So make a little chain. That was going to be a pain in the butt. Come on. I'm trying to think. I've got a bunch of niobium. Some purple, some green, and some blue niobium rings. And it's not a lot, right? But in the name of using up all the rings in my basement, I'm going to try and work them into something. John says he's 100% the definition of normal. He'll have us know. So I got some niobium rings. I have some small blackened stainless steel rings. I should be able to make something cool out of those. They're saw cut. They might even become a piece of jewelry. I don't know. We'll see how they wear and tear. I know that I ordered them originally to make some earrings and they were not the correct size, so I never did anything with them. So black and stainless steel rings, some colorful niobium, and I don't know what else. A couple of coifs, gonna wrap the saddlebags. Get this Finnegan's Wake flag done. What else? Oh, I got this bag here to work on. Right? I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with this. And I have a lot of these rings, so I don't know. Alright. You love the shine niobium has over titanium when anodized? Yeah. You're making 16 gauge Byzantine chain tonight. Goal is 4 or 5 feet. Jeez. I need to get to I need to make one of those rain chains. Who was it? Brilliant Twisted Skulls on Facebook made the rain chain. That thing was super cool. And now I want one. shit. Rain chain and a couple other things I want to do. A couple pieces I want to rework, and gotta up my leather work. Because any shirt I do anymore is going to be basically a jacket with buckles and a zipper, or a zipper, something like that. Last copper one you did cost $280 in 4-gauge copper alone for 9 feet. I believe it. I 100% believe that. $280 for 9 feet of copper. And how many rings did you get out of that? Yeah, $280 to $1,300. $1,300. That's not terrible. Oh. Yeah, it'll be nice when I get all of this done and I can design and sell stuff. How big is 4-gauge roughly? How big is 4-gauge? I think it's about the diameter of this bottle. No. You got 4 rings for every 2 inches. 4-gauge is about a 1/4 inch thick, apparently. Okay. What is this? 1/2 inch thick? Yeah, so half this bottle. I was not close at all. Gauge is roughly layers in an inch. Oh, okay. Interesting. Roughly layers in an inch. Come on. There we go. I don't need to make this cap chain very long. Right? It's just going to connect to the split ring over here. .16 gauge is 1/16, about as well for quick guessing. Okay. .16 gauge is approximately 1/16, and 4-gauge is approximately 1/4. All right, I think I want to we'll take a look at it in a second. I don't want to make the chain too long, but I don't want to make it too short either. Alright, so it's 9:30 already, which kind of sucks because This isn't going to last until 9:30. Come on. Alright. Oh, almost made a giant mess. Yeah. So if I... This seems a little short. And I think this ring will rotate a little more. You know, what ring size is that? This ring is too large. The gauge is too big. I don't have... Do I have an 8? Well, hang on, let me check something. Come on. Oh man, I'm so close here. I'd rather use a butted ring than a split ring. I think. I could be very wrong about that. Really? Oh man. It's right at the edge and there's just too much curve in the ring to... Yeah, it flattened that out completely. Alright, well, split ring it is. Alright, hang on, I'll check your comments in a sec. Sorry guys, I'm not trying to ignore you, I'm just... Messes are no fun. Spent 30 minutes cutting 24 gauge silver yesterday to knocking it over and spending 60 minutes picking them up. If it was not silver, you would have raged and left them on the floor. Yeah, I'll bet. Okay. Alright, there's That's kind of okay, right? Let's see here. I'll try and adjust this split ring a little more. But this tightens. Comes off easy. Looks much better than what was on there previously. You pull this out in front of someone, they're gonna be like, holy cow, man. Alright. I think that, I don't know. I think I should add one more or two more rows. That's what I think. I think we need 2 more rows. Doesn't hang quite right. It's a little tight, but it does look good. So, take this back off. Oh, shit. Shoot. Bang. All right. You spilled a few hundred galvanized rings once. Luckily, it's magnetic, and you just use magnetic parts tray to pick them all up. Nice. I should see about my logo being lasered onto one of them, into the cap or the flask. Okay. It said stainless steel in here somewhere. Yeah, stainless steel, 8 ounces. I assume that means the cap too. I don't know. Put my logo on there. That'd be cool. I don't need an excuse to get a laser. I want one. What am I doing? A laser would be a laser. What do I want? I want that water jet. The desktop water jet that I sent you. They make a $10,000 water jet that cuts metal. Right? I want one. Get some heavy 12 gauge rings and layer it onto them. Yeah. This is that song you were talking about last night. Should we skip it? Yeah, I don't know. Pretzel Rock seems to like play. It says 703 tracks, 221 tracks, and yet we seem to be getting like the same songs over and over, right? So I don't know why. They used to have a Surprise Me channel, and I haven't gone back through and tried to find it. I will try and focus on that. Wazer is a neat product, the water jet thing. It would be 24/7 to sharpening your blades. Nothing gets them sharper, not even lasers. This heat is bad for blades. Interesting. I didn't know that. A Wazer and an Arc Droid would be amazing additions to your shop. What is an Arc Droid? Is that... I'm assuming it's an arc welder that is also like a CNC welder machine. Is that what you're telling me? Yeah. Laser, a Wazer, Arc Droids. What else? There's a couple other pieces of equipment I want to pick up. All right. And really, it's just... None of it will make you a better chainmail artist, but... it will take your products to the next level, you know what I mean? I think that's a... No program needed, just hit record, trace, and save program, then it's placing steel and cutting it over and over. Nice. That's the Arc Droid. CNC plasma cutter point path. Okay. Come on. Alright, so here is the last little section. I think we added a ½ an inch of length to this chain, this cap chain. I think that'll look a little bit better than it did before. Come on. Wow. Alright. My brace is falling apart. Literally. I need a new one. Before I get a Wazer and a laser and a... What'd you call that thing? Arc Droid. I need to get a new arm brace. Alright. This is a... What gauge is this? 18 gauge? 18 gauge split ring. I've got a bunch of these for a scale project that I'm working on. Or that I have. I have it. I wouldn't... Why did I do that? I'm dumb. 3,600 total to have a milk crate unit that will CNC plasma cut 1/4 inch carbon steel and fits in your truck bed for on-job uses. But you would make throwing weapons by the hundreds and Wazer to sharpen the edge profile, and it would be like printing money. There you go. It's a way to do it. Get machines to do it for you. Alright, now we can connect it to this. There we go. Oh, that's perfect. Look at that. Let's see here. Let me switch over to TikTok to make sure you get a good view of this. Right, just hangs down just perfectly, and if I can get this to move a little more, it'll be bueno. I like the way that's on there. That came out nice. And it just adds a little bit of personality to the whole thing. All right. Yeah. Ruined that ring. That's okay. Oh. Is that the ring that ran away from me? I'm going to set these rings aside and wait till I get the ceramic media and then tumble them in that. They got a couple burrs on them, but... Alright, let me flip TikTok over to me. There we go. Alright. Adjust my camera over here. Alright, it is 9:50. So... I don't have much more to do tonight, or much more time to do anything tonight, but we got that done. My son reminded me as he was going through all of my stuff that I needed to finish this when he was asking me about it. And I was like, all right, let me get this done. So we just added this little chain here tonight, right? And I think it's perfect. All right. So, but it is like 10 minutes before 10, and I still have some stuff to go and get done for the rest of the evening. So I'm going to pack up my stuff and head on out. If you are interested in learning more about chainmail, please check out the link tree in my bio. I've got a link to the MailWorks app where you have a list of resources to help you get started. Tutorials, ring manufacturers, suppliers, tools, all kinds of stuff. And it's just really meant to be a resource for people who are getting into chainmail and for veteran chainmail artists to have a bunch of resources in one place. So please go check it out. In the meantime, I'll be back on streaming later and keep making videos about the stuff I make. So you guys all have a wonderful evening. All right. All right, John, have a good night. Appreciate you, buddy. Everybody else watching on the mainstream channels, there's the MailWorks app under the app section on my website on mailworks.com. Or you can go to Google or Apple and type in MailWorks, same as my username here. Excuse me. And download it there. And if you're interested in learning more about chainmail. All right, Jeeb and Jamber, have a good one. And to everyone else, I'm going to take off. I've got a few more things I got to do tonight before I rest my little head. But you guys all have a wonderful evening.